That way when I be small picking, no when I play. Now the ask us, the man the ask Banja Bwakina, Bamba, who they became play so, and that picking there. Oh my store Frenchy, Banja Bwakina, Bamba, Banja Bwakina, Bamba, 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 Bamba.
Cameroon has one of the richest cultural diversity in Africa. Each of the cultures different, but at the same time similar in their traditions. Out of over 300 ethnic groups in the 10 regions, the Southwest region has an outstanding cultural heritage and tradition begging to be known.
Sakani nya 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 mini bamba ma.
Sakani nya 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 mini maliboy.
Sakani nya 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 mini bamba ma.
Sakani nya 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 mini maliboy.
Alolo.
Bola bisa. Bola bisa.
One of the most interesting and grabbing stories of this part of Cameroon is the history of the Bafows. This takes center stage. A classic tale of a people who value their culture, their history, their identity, their ancestry, their origin, and have not left it to chance. The Bafaw ancestral home is Mashui. Mashui is a site in the Mbo land situated northeast of the village of Kombone. The territory lies below, south of the Basosi, along the valley of the Mungo, stretching through Kombone and Kokobuma. Mashui means fireplace, referring to an area with a scenario of constant wars between the tribes. Nfaw migrated with his 2 children, Ndong and Isiambene.
Nfaw was a hunter, at the same time a warrior. He existed in Mashui actually, and there's evidence even to this date. If you are moving after Nkong, you are taking Sancho, Fonguera, all the other settlements there, you will find an evidence of the Bafow living there. So with them 4 people, you have the language itself attaching to the name. You have the Bafow, descendants of Nfaw. So already Bafow, as we call it also in our dialect, say Bafow, we of Nfaw. Nfaw represent the man, the father, the mythical ancestor.
A portion of history holds that the Bafows, driven across the Mungo by the Basosis, left the land and migrated to Badum and the Menge River. Another reason for the migration from Mashui was constant flooding of the land, poor soil and civilization that was found in the south. After the Southwest movement, the village of Kumba, Mabanda, Ikiliwindi, Bolo, Nkurume, Deika appeared to have been founded. More villages like Kombone, Dikume, Kokobuma, Njanga spring up after the peace deal. Bolo was founded by Akpa grandfather of a young man who was the village head, Nkuhume, by Akamadibo, who came from Mashui. Ikiliwindi, by Noko, Makene, grandfather of Ikale. Kumba, one Midike came to Kumba and established a village on the left banks of the river, 1 mile east to the present site. The village was called Kumba Medike because of large umbrella trees fell during building operations. Deika was founded during the war between Balong and Ekumbe.
In those days, there were a great war. People were trying to settle in a rare place. But the founder of this place, who is called Mutuba, was trying to settle in a rare place where he ought to settle by himself with his people. But he fought until he went right up to Mbanga, near the seaside. And then from there, he stayed there for some few days. He refused that this is the seaside. And then he started war again, come back and settle here. The war with the people around here, Bonge, Nganjo, Ngongo, and the Kombe Waterfall, the Kombe Liongo. He war there until defeat them, and then he settled here.
But the Ikumbe and the Bakosi Wars were the most popular clashes of the Bafows. The Bafow-Bakosi War took place in Korume. The fighting was not severe because the Bakosi were like brothers to the Bafows.
Fought here in Korume at a place called Esam. There is where the war was being fought. But at that time, just as the stories were told us, that there was a very brave chief, leader of the Bakosi tribe, by name Kemakole. With him, no defeat at all. Series of wars were fought. They defeated Bafow people. So at the end of it, the chief, the leader of Bafow, one of the chiefs, had a beautiful girl who fell in love with that very leader of Bakosi.
And that was the beginning of the defeat of the Bakosi. He married the Bafow girl, and out of love, affection, and trust, he was lured to reveal his powers to his wife, telling her his secret. He was hardly defeated because of his mystical powers that suspended him in the sky. One day, his wife left to visit her sick father, and from there, the secret of the Bakosi chief was made public.
Father now organized another war. He sent what we call a sum. They used to tie a small knot like that. If it is war, they put a palm knot, 1 palm knot in the small bundle and send. That is news of war. So when they saw this, they organized another war. They came up, met at the same spot. The same spot as the Sam. There is where about 4 people now have, after knowing the tricks used by the Kemakole, they had to fire him up. They killed him, he fell down, and the whole world shook. The place shook, showing that he was a very mighty man. So as he fell down, people surrendered. And then a treaty was made there by the Bakosi people and the Bafow people.
They killed a slave from one of the tribes, cut a part of his body, and nailed to a tree. This spot is called Esam because it is where they stretched a spear to nail a part of the slave's body to the tree. And all the Bakosi people came to live in peace with the Bafows. It was sworn that no Bakosi will ever cross a Bafow man's blood, and no Bafow will cross the blood of a Bakosi. A hammock was later constructed in Kurume, used by both villages to cross over to their farms and sell their produce. After the wars, some of the villages that migrated from Mashui, like Bolo, disappeared in the course of time.
In 1940, about 60 years ago, you would know that there was a village, a Bafaw village known as Bolo near Kurume. I knew the chief there. It was Balo. In the Donda's report, Bolo is one of the villages. But I don't think you can find more than 1 or 2 people in Bolo village. It's, as a Bafow village, one could say is virtually extinct. In some cases, people actually migrated, moved away from those villages. There was a lot of migration.
Other Bafow villages created after the migration from Mashui were later on vacated and subsequently inhabited by some other tribes. The migration from Mashui, the origin of the Bafows, led to the permanent settlement of 10 Bafow villages, and judicial powers was based on the Juju societies, principally Ndifon, Male, and Nyangbe. The Ndifon had the greatest authority of all. It is thought that the Ndifon Juju may have been brought down from the northeast of Combone by the Bafows. The name Bafaw is merely the plural form of Nfaw, which may be a contraction of Nfon.
But you have Joki.
Nfaw is the name given to the first mystical ancestor of the Bafows. Murder cases were judged by the Ndifon, while in others where judgment had been passed by the Ndifon, some other society inflicted the penalty. Before the colonial masters arrived, it was learned that a group of Swedish adventurers had penetrated the Bafow land in search for elephant tusk.
The Swedish came in as adventurers by the 1833, and you have to see men like Nossen and Vado. Those are the people that even drafted certain unknown settlements even today. And it is that same map that when the Germans entered within their trade era, unofficially explored right to Bafow land, it's evident when people like Nfaw were coming into the interior to buy elephant tusk, linked here to Bafow land by the dwellers, you find unofficial expeditions. And that is where you have the drafting of map by Max Moyser. That's the German that drafted the map of the tribal area of the Bafow themselves alongside other tribes.
When the Germans arrived, there was new order in the administration and fewer complaints were made against the colonial rule. German native courts were created, district heads and village heads nominated. The villages were grouped as follows: Batum family, Kokobuma, Andikome, Bojonge, Kombone, Bolo, Ikiliwindi, Mabanda, Bapemban, Nkurume, Kumba, Deika. The 3 village heads put forward were Batum, led by Esembe of Kokobuma, Bojongwe by Abel Mukete of Kumba, and Bapemban by Melang of Kumba, district head. The Germans interacted with the natives, and most of the German lessons took place in the houses of chiefs. The chiefs assisted in teaching. The Bafows took to Christianity very early, and Abel Mukete was the first convert in Kumba. After having been initiated into many secret societies, he accepted Christianity when he listened to the missionaries. However, the villagers and other Juju heads were surprised at his decision. Having tasted the good things of the Juju society, they were shocked when he said yes to Christianity. With the acceptance of Abel Mukete to join the religion of the white man, the Basel mission was built on the shrine of the Bafows. Abel Mukete, during his baptism, embraced Christianity, and for the first time in the history of the Bafows, the Juju heads of the secret cults came to church dressed in their traditional outfits. The reign of the Juju had slowly disappeared. Chiefs ruled the villages, and the chieftaincy became hereditary, just like the position of the district heads set up by the Germans. The Christian influence limited the functions of the Juju to a level where they appeared only at special ceremonies. The Malay, one of the Juju cults, is an elephant dance which still comes out to perform during festivals, and Ekbangatiti, usually played at the death of Nfaw, maintained its function, mainly discipline.
Kanga si tanani yo eleming misami me bola nende Ekbangatiti yo ebebo elevushi bagwa be ele twemisi bambam puma na jona na wati nyete bambam puma na bangondele yo ede mbamba eyo beta ke won bamba kwele te wa bina na batina ba fina nebo.
The acceptance of Christianity, the disappearance of some Juju societies, and the limited functions of the present-day Juju cult did not erase the identity of the Bafows.
And I realized there were people who had uniforms of different political parties.
Each of the Bafow villages are unique and have their own personality. From the moment of their migration from Mashui to the present-day settlement to the white man's religion, the village of Kombone still preserved some of its beliefs and traditions inherited from its forefathers. At the front of the chief's palace in Kombone is a long stone called Lelembo, and on the side 3 other stones, oval in shape, which has existed for more than 50 years.
That long stone we see for the they call them the Lelembo. Now for the way the Lelembo, that is village stone. Where if some problem they way they come where it hot. Now for the people they go they cool them. They make a medicine cool down, like if like another village we come like for fight or for anything where they come. Now for they go they cool them. And now the 3 stone we see for the another 3 families. They go for any man for talk for his own for his family. That one for me na Bajuki family. Bajuki man I be for the. Then the one for the next you get Bapawan. Then the next one you get Batuam. For the 3 clan Bafow.
Besides the Lelembo, preserved by their forefathers, is this little black bag containing snail shells, which has its own mystical significance.
Oh, we're power. For the woman in the 90s. If you get some woman blue from head, or if you might begin with family palaver company, we pass Paris for inside.
Would they bring it? Would they bring it for this bag? For a woman house. As we bring it back, we put it back. Tow it through. If you don't want to tow it through, if you cross the back, where it all lie, the bag they follow you. Yes, the bag they follow you. I tell you that for the back.
That's strong.
You know you find palava. But if man come, it hand it clean. If you sleep on top, nothing will do you. But if you do thing way, it concern this back, way bad, and they follow you.
Peace, fellowship, unity remain the most important values in the Bafaw tribe, and it is lauded in every occasion. Families travel to meet in this secret part of the forest to call on their ancestors for more blessings in the villages.
This one a shrine, a place where we find them for olden days. Now here, they come make blessing for country. The blessing for here, if they don't come, as we negotiate, we throw cola, take small mimbo, call with ancestors them. People they don't die so long, we call them. When they wake up, come bless we. They give we born for town. They give we picking, money, strangers. If we don't come over here now, as we come out, any family, they go receive your own blessing. We work at two, go back for town. We dance.
And this is an answered prayer from the ancestors. A child is born, a moment of great joy and rejoicing. The baby girl grows to a woman, and once she is ripe for marriage, a young man comes around to marry her. The first part of the marriage is the knocking of the door, where he would bring palm wine, tobacco, whiskey to seek for approval from her family, and if he is accepted, he concludes the other rites. When evil befalls any family through the death of a man, families and neighbors gather for burial. If it is a child below the age of 20, he is buried the same day. Above 20, the corpse is kept overnight, and the bereaved family entertains the guest with drinks and food to keep them awake throughout the night. Burial rites will depend on whether he was a Christian or not. If the dead man was not a convert, a notable is called to conduct the burial exercise. But if he was a Christian, a pastor presides over the burial ceremony. From the period of the German rule to present day, the Bafaw country experienced a slow pace in development compared to other tribes. Their proximity to the road, which should have been a basis for rapid development, has not been maximized. The absence of electricity, water, lack of infrastructure, roads, education, hospitals has encouraged rural exodus, especially by the active population.
My first advice is education. And I hope that with good education, education can take care of many other things. Yes. But first of all, at least it improves their own capacity to improve themselves and make a contribution to their country. First, education, and that's what, first, second, third, education is the thing.
The Bafaws, in spite of challenges they face, still remain a great family. Attempts to preserve unity continues to be made, especially by those who value peace, one of their ancestral heritage.
Oh